What is up, everybody? Turboverse here today. So we're going to be reacting to CNET's video. The PS5 could be perfect if it fixed these problems. Now, CNET is I think they are a tech channel. They usually just cover tech, the new tech, the newest and most innovative tech so far. So definitely interesting. This isn't, this definitely isn't a fanboy channel. So they should come from like a unbiased point of view. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that the PS5 has some major issues. It's not that it's a terrible console, but it's not like we can't say it's the greatest either because it's some simple issues that the Xbox, their competition has, the Xbox has that the PS5 is lacking. Some features like off the rip, you can say how like this doesn't have the quick resume feature, which is a major feature Xbox has. The size of the console is so massive. It's definitely. I don't think we have seen. I think it's like the closest console I think that was this large was like the original Xbox One. But yeah, this is a large console, so pretty sure you'll get more details like that. I'm pretty sure that's the top thing I can think in my head. I think I really like about the PS5 and the I guess you could talk about like the no external hard drive support too. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll go more in detail about what could possibly make the PS5 a perfect system. Even though it's still like the hottest system, it's the hottest item people want this year. Like it's been sold out since November. It's not been really available. So yeah, so let's see what CNET has to say. So let's get into the video.
Everybody loves PlayStation 5. It's a fantastic console, still sold out all over the place,
Still
but it's
sold
not
out.
perfect. I've talked to gamers and these are the top 5 things PS5 still gets wrong. Number 1 is expandable storage or the lack thereof. When you set up your PS5, you end up with about 700 gigs of free space to install games, and that sounds like a lot, and it is. But a lot of modern games are 40 gigs, 50, 60 gigs, some are 80, a few even top 100. So you're really not going to have room to store a ton of games on a PS5, and you're going to end up sooner or later, probably sooner, deleting games to make room for new games. Then when you want to go back, you have to re-download the game. And of course, nobody wants to be using up that much bandwidth or waiting hours for a game to install. But
I knew that was gonna get brought up because it's like, why haven't they just made the external hard drive thing, the external SSD drive thing, be the same day as the console releases? So it kind of gives the impression that this thing was rushed out, just like the match with Microsoft. So I knew that was gonna be brought up. I had a feeling and that was actually the first thing that was brought up. So I had a feeling that was gonna be brought up because that's like a big major flaw with the PS5. It's like Xbox Series S has a little memory card thing, or you just put in the back of the Xbox, and you have external hard drives, but or external SSD space. You can say the price is extremely expensive, but still, it's like Microsoft was ready day one, while Sony is like you gotta wait like almost a full year. I think they said it's gonna be like it's gonna be like between in the middle of the year when they finally release the external hard drive, external SSD patch or like yeah, that's just insane. Like they were not ready. Sorry, so I'm not shocked he brought that up. So let's take the video.
why wouldn't you just plug an external hard drive into one of the handy ports on the back of the machine? You can do that, but you can only store and play PS4 games from there, not PS5 games. Interestingly enough, there is a slot inside the PS5 that you can get to actually pretty easily. It's an M.2 slot, so you can put one of those special hard drives into that slot, but the slot's not turned on yet. Hopefully this summer we hear it will be turned on and there will either be an official Sony version of an expandable hard drive or maybe you'll be able to buy third-party M.2 drives and stick them in there. Another big PS5 issue we keep hearing about is controller drift. Now what is that? That's when you hold up your game controller without touching the analog sticks, but
I had to deal with this myself. And it was like the first time I ever had to deal with this out of any console. I have some of this with the Nintendo Switch, but it's not like it goes on and off the Nintendo Switch. It's not an ongoing thing. But this PlayStation 5 controller, it's like I did a video on my channel too about how I was playing Outer Worlds in the game. The controller just kept moving. The character just kept moving. Just kept moving to the left consistently. I couldn't even do anything because it kept moving on its own. So that really was a really frustrating experience. I had to buy a brand new controller. Yeah, that was definitely not a good time. So I definitely know something about this controller drift. That's definitely a major issue they need to fix. So yeah.
pointer on the screen where the cursor moves by itself. That is because something has gone wrong with the control stick. Almost every controller uses the same base components in there. It's a spring, it's a potentiometer, they're all pretty much off-the-shelf parts, very similar to what you find in arcade sticks, and frankly they wear out after a while. Nintendo had a big problem with Joy-Cons with controller drift, and they ended up having to replace a bunch of those. The guys at iFixit, who do all those great teardowns, they figured out that the parts used in the DualSense controller on the PlayStation 5 should last from between 200-something hours and 400-something hours of use. But if you're a heavy-duty gamer playing very stick-intensive games, you might actually hit that fairly soon, and of course people are having some drift issues even before that.
Yeah,
but I'd note that I have not had controller drift problems.
He was saying like after like 200 hours, people are reporting that who just got like the PS5. Like I got my PS5 like maybe like a few months. What was it, maybe like a few months after when I recorded that video. It was only like a few months, and it's like the controller's already messing up. So yeah, I don't really, and I wasn't even playing like consistently like every day for like I got long play periods and was still going out. So yeah, that was just still a major issue. Even people who weren't playing a game like that, who weren't playing it consistently, it's still a major issue.
Problems with my DualSense controllers, and I think the new controller is frankly the most impressive part of the new PS5 design, and also everyone on every platform with every kind of gamepad does complain about that problem. You want to know what another really big problem with the PS5 is? It's still almost impossible to buy one 5+ months into the PS5 era. Every time there's a restock at a store, everyone goes online at the same time, the website slows down or crashes, or you can't get one into your cart even if you click buy in the first second. Now, partially that's because the shop bots keep buying up the very limited supply and then trying to resell them at inflated prices. And of course, there's also a component shortage that is making it difficult to get enough consoles onto store shelves or onto store websites for everybody to buy. And nobody thinks that problem is going to be solved until at least the summer of 2021. Even President Biden has gotten in on the act, signing an executive order to investigate supply chain issues with things like semiconductors, which is at least partially responsible for this ongoing shortage. Another thing that drives people a little crazy about the PlayStation 5, it's huge! It's the size of a small Winnebago. I can barely fit it onto the screen with me. It's about 15+ inches high, 10 inches wide, 4 inches deep, and it's just not going to fit into most standard living room media console hardware. If you want to put it down on its side, it still takes up a lot of space, almost like a vintage, early days DVD player. And you have to hook up this awkward stand to the bottom of it at the same time.
That means that's standing up.
Ironically, the Xbox Series X is not actually that much smaller. They're both about 440 cubic inches, but the Xbox has a much more compact rectangular shape, and it just fits in more spaces.
I'd say the Xbox Series X is a lot. It is more compact than that rectangular space. While the PS5 is just like a weird design. It's like an actual like a building. It's just like been minimized, but it's still huge. So I don't know. I just think they just need to make a smaller PS5 console over time, call it a PS5 Slim or whatever, with their next reiteration of the PS5. But yeah, it's too large. It's ridiculous. That shouldn't have been that large like that.
My final issue with the PlayStation 5 is less something that it has or doesn't have, but something the other guy has, and that is Xbox Game Pass, which everyone has decided is frankly a really fantastic value, whether it's $10 a month.
You shouldn't say that to so many Sony guys. Like, they really hate Game Pass for some reason. I don't understand why. Like, I thought like everybody thought this was universal, like a great thing for gaming, but I did that video yesterday or 2 days ago. It was like, these guys really hate Game Pass. I don't know just because the Xbox has it or what, but they really don't like Game Pass. They are really anti-Game Pass, which I think is a great service. Like, I think most people think it's a great service. I think it's just a vocal minority of people who are saying don't subscribe to Game Pass. They even went as far as like these little movements that say don't subscribe to Game Pass. The internet is wild, but yeah, I do agree they do need a Game Pass type service. Even though PS Now is supposed to be like that equivalent, people always compare PS Now, but it's like most people don't want to stream their games. It's like I'm sure you can download like the PS4 games But I think those other older games, like the PS3 games, you gotta actually stream those. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I kind of wish they just kind of did what Game Pass did. But I'm pretty sure they're not putting their first party games day and date on that service. So yeah, I don't think they. I was like, I think they're trying to compete with Game Pass, but they're not. They're not gonna go as far as Game Pass is going though. So definitely interesting take.
Month for the console or the PC version, or $15 a month for the combined console and PC version, plus the Xbox Gold, plus EA Play. It's a really huge catalog of games, and some of them are cross-compatible between PC and Xbox, and they even have access to cloud gaming through that xCloud project Microsoft is working on that works on some devices and is coming to a lot more once they get a browser-based version of it going. Now, PlayStation, of course, has PlayStation Plus, which is similarly priced and gives you a couple of really interesting games every month, and actually has a nice back catalog of games called the PlayStation Plus Collection, and that has God of War and a few other really good games in it, but it's nowhere near the 300 game library that Game Pass has. Sony also has a cloud gaming service. It's called PlayStation Now, but it's an entirely separate subscription, and people don't really talk about it all that much. I'll admit, it took me a while to even come up with 5 decent things that the PlayStation 5 still needs to work on. That's probably a good sign for this console's long-term life cycle, and between this and the new Xbox Series X, this is definitely the least buggy console launch I have covered, going all the way back to the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, okay, that's impressive. Yeah, it's like, even if he says this probably going to be fixed, people are still going to go out and buy this system. There's like no doubt about that. It's probably going to be like the number one console seller of this generation, to be honest. So yeah, but it does have some major issues people don't want to talk about. But like I said, those issues he named, like I even named off a few of those things before the video because I kind of like knew those things off the top of my head, that the major issues the PS5 has. So it does have some issues that it needs to work out. Hopefully they can fix it expediently. But let's read some of these comments. Um, why can't Sony just let everyone pre-order one through their website? Hold them on queue and ship one every time one is available. I have no idea why they just don't do that. A lot of people have been just, I thought I had that theory before. Like, why don't you just like certain stores just let you put your name down for a pre-order, you pay them their money, then it's available to just they ship to the store, you pick it up there. I don't know why they just don't do that. Then again, they have a shortage. Of like the actual material to make the console, like the chips, like they were saying in the video before. So that's probably a reason why. Like he says, the same issue. The semiconductor shortages seem to be a real and serious problem. Yeah, they've had the president talking about it, so you know it's an issue then. Early adopters are another term for beta testers. Thanks for your sacrifices. I guess in a way, you guess you are a beta testing it. The problem is that I can't buy it if it fixes the problems that will be great. LOL. So he still can't find one up. So that sucks. Had the PS5 for a month now, never experienced drift, though it did start working once Horizon Zero Dawn and it reset from the back. Okay. Okay, so you had to restart it. So this person still says he can't get one for regular price. Sad face emoji. I'm still trying to get one day one of release. Why shops now doing reservation of the console and put a queue so everyone will get one eventually. Yeah, a lot of people got that same complaint. So he says he's waiting for a PS5 Slim version. There's not any games to jump out and get one. Yeah. A lot of people think the size isn't a big issue, but that thing is the PS5 it's just an insanely large console. Like I'm still. It has to be like a ventilation issue, so the console doesn't overheat. That's the only issue. That's the only reason I can think why the system is that large like that. Like that is definitely an issue. But yeah, I'm gonna conclude the video right there. Definitely an interesting take on CNET's opinion about what this PS5 is missing. I agree with most of the issues he said. I agree with all the issues he said. Those are definitely some big issues. So yeah, definitely see your comments down below. leave a like if you like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.